And we are back, folks, for another edition of the Recruiting Insider, and I am glad to have in studio a young man from a stomping grounds area that Michigan used to harvest from back in the day. Virginia used to be a state that Michigan camped out in. Now, they didn't really used to hit the Tidewater area super hard, but the Richmond area, for instance, they were in there strong. Remember, a young man by the name of David Terrell went down to Huguenot to get Dave Terrell. I remember a young man by the name of James Whitley they went down to get. Back in the day, the Wolverines were down in Virginia, and now they are down in Virginia again trying to harvest one of the top receivers in the entire country, Chesapeake, Virginia, Mr. Travis Johnson. Travis, how you doing?
I'm doing great today. How about you?
Doing great, man. You know, when we talk about the Tidewater area, I mean, you come from an area of the country. Back in my day, you talk about the golden times, talking about, you know, Allen Iverson, talking about guy who just got the head job at Norfolk State. We talking about Ronald Curry. I mean, this is the royalty area, man. I mean, like, this is the place where the Titans were from. How does it feel to be a guy from that area that everybody's talking about?
It feels great to be from the 757. We had a bunch of dogs in the 757. I just learned about Ronald Curry like not too long ago.
Really?
Yeah, they had a McDonald's All-American game down there because of him and all that. I just learned about him.
Oh man, Ronald Curry, they were talking about Ronald Curry more than they were talking about Mike Vick at that time.
Sure.
Yeah, man, yeah, he was the one. He was gonna be the guy. And then of course, you know, football and basketball at the time. And so of course Mike Vick went to Virginia Tech and did his thing. But let's talk about you as an outstanding wideout. I know you can do your thing on the basketball court as well. When we talk about you as an athlete, you are outstanding. Seems like whatever you do, you can do whatever you want to do with a ball in your hand. So how did it all start? When did you step on the field or court and realize, man, I'm just a little bit different than everybody else? When did that become apparent to you?
So I stepped on the court when I was 3. Then I started playing football when I was 6. Then I stopped playing football. Then I picked football back up in 8th grade. I played basketball my whole life. So I picked football back in 8th grade. Then all the offers and stuff start coming in my 9th grade season. Actually, it started coming in the summer for my 9th grade season. We had our first game.
Okay, all right. And so, you know, you getting recruiting attention. I mean, I know you aren't the first one in your family for that to start happening with. So it kind of seemed like it was gonna come your way.
Yes, sir.
And so, you know, kind of having a brother go through the process, was it kind of apparent to you that it was gonna come, and what was that like for you to kind of to have a sibling kind of go through the process?
It was amazing because he paved the way for me. I think he made it pretty easier for me than most other people because I already seen his pathway and how he did everything in his journey.
All right, so let's talk about your game. Trav, let's talk about what you do, how you do what you do. When we come and watch you on the football field, for people who haven't seen you play, kind of break down your game. Give me a scouting report.
Okay. First, I'm very athletic. Jump ball in the air, I'm going to go get it. My very fast, very accelerations is great. I'm a very smart player. I like to block too, yeah.
Is there a player in college or pros that you kind of compare yourself to or try to emulate?
Kind of as a Michigan person, Nico Collins.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's another dude that I know well. Covered Nico going back to high school and watching Nico in high school down in Alabama, kind of seeing your tape. I see the similarities.
Yes, sir.
I think you might be a little faster than Nico
Yeah,
was
probably.
at the same stage.
Yes,
so, yeah, but I can definitely see that. Now, here's the deal though. You got a lot of family ties to to West Virginia. I know your mom, West Virginia. I know your brother, West Virginia. And Rich is back. You know, Rich Rod is back, right? So there's a lot of kind of, you know, when you talk about the nostalgia of it, there's a lot of feeling of, you know, everybody is feeling the love again.
Yes, sir.
You know, so how does it feel, and do you feel the pull of that love that people are starting to feel for West Virginia again? And does, you know, your brother ever talk about it? Like, hey man, you know, what is, you know, why don't you come on this way?
I don't really think it's no pressure because my whole family went there. My dad went there too when he played football. But I'm always going to support my brother. So I'm always going to keep West Virginia in my pocket because my brother's there. So
Okay.
I would love to play with him again.
So do you, I mentioned Virginia, Tidewater area. It used to be, once Mike Vick went there and did his thing, it was like they put a fence around it and you couldn't get any players out of there. I know it's not quite like that anymore, but they're trying to get it back. What about Tech? I mean, how's that? How are they with you? And do you feel like the pull to stay home? What's that like?
Yes, sir, most definitely. Brent Pry, Fontel Mons, the receiver coach, both are have very good, genuine relationships with both of them.
Okay, so they're putting that on you.
Yes, sir.
To kind of stay home, man. And listen, the other thing that I'm picking up, I can tell you and your mom are really, really tight. I can tell that love
Yes, sir.
is strong, is deep.
It is.
And you know, mamas don't want their babies to go far away from home. So how big is distance gonna be for you in the grand scheme of things?
I don't think distance is will ever be a problem because my mom's probably always going to come with me, or if she doesn't come with me, she's going to visit every week, or because she's always with me.
I hear you. I hear you. So what will the factors be as you kind of get deeper into recruiting? I'm not talking about any specific schools. I asked you about West Virginia
Yes, sir.
because you got deep family ties. I asked you about Virginia Tech because I know how deep they are in your area. But let's remove the schools now and just talk in general. As you are looking at recruiting, what are going to be the big factors that you look at when you get ready to make a decision?
The first factor is I want to go to a winning program. Second factor, I want to get developed, just not on the field, in the classroom, as a man. After football, there's life still. So after you gotta have life after football. Then 3, my connection with the head coach first, because that's the head coach and the position coach.
So have you, as you've gone through the recruiting process, I mean, I'm always curious, as you've kind of seen some things, heard some things, have you already started to, I'm not asking you to call any schools out, but have you already started to experience some things like, okay, I can kind of tell I'm not I'm not feeling that, or I'm not feeling them at all. Have you already started to experience that kind of thing? Like, what are some things, without calling out the schools, what are some things about schools or about the experience that you've kind of felt like, I don't like that, whether it's they contact me too much or I don't like the way they're recruiting me? What are some of the things that you can kind of?
Sometimes coaches aren't consistent. Like, they'll say they want you here, then you won't hear from them for like 2 months. So that's one thing I don't like. I like schools hitting me up at least like 2 to 3 times a week, just showing me that I'm a priority for them. I don't like being hit up too much. Like,
that's
calling me every night.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, if you were recruiting Travis Johnson, like, how would you recruit you?
Maybe call myself once every 2 weeks and text me like probably 3 times a week. Not too much.
Yeah, so you know, you obviously you have an agent in Letitia Kinsler who is helping you with this process. You know, I can see how as you guys have come up together. I know you're up here with some guys from Jersey. I know how they hooked up with Letitia, but you come from Tidewater area, kind of connected with. So how did that connection happen? Because this has been a valuable resource for you. So how did you guys all come together like that?
I don't know. I think he got in connection with my mom somehow. Then just one day we had we had a FaceTime or Zoom meeting. We had a Zoom meeting or something, and with me and my mom and him, and it was great. I could tell from the start it was gonna be a real genuine connection, and he wasn't gonna lie to me or anything like that.
And it's just been that connection ever since, man. That's outstanding to have a guide like that to kind of help you through this journey like you've been on, to be able to get places like you've been able to get, like this one, like you've been on this visit to Michigan again. So you've had an opportunity to see Michigan a couple of times now. Let's start off first with talking about your impressions of Michigan, generally speaking. What are your thoughts on Michigan? What do you think of the program? What do you think of Amazing Blue?
I love the relationships I have with the coaches. They're very genuine. Like, especially, I came down for Texas when they lost to Texas this year. They lost the game, and still after the game, I was out with dinner with Coach Bellamy. Like, he's a great dude. And so with Coach Moore, he's a great, genuine guy. Yeah.
So, listen, man, it's different though for them, right? This past year, because their offense last year wasn't what their offense is gonna be. So they're basically recruiting you on the promise of the future as opposed to what they were presently at the time. How was that hitting with you? I mean, how did you see it? What did you think? And what do you think based on what they were offensively? I mean,
last year they could have did better offensively, but I talked to Bryce Underwood today. He's a good dude and another great dude on the field. So
yeah, so that's you already got into my next question, because that obviously affected things. The quarterback situation that they got a new offensive coordinator. So all the things that weren't in place offensively are likely are in place now. What about Bryce Underwood, number 1 quarterback in the country? Before you even talked to him, did that have an impact on you? Did you know who he was? And now that you talked to him, does that impact you?
It had an impact. It had a very big impact, because not only you got to care about the coaches, you got to have a quarterback to get the ball from. So that definitely had a big impact.
Had you seen him at all, or did you watch him after you saw that they got him?
I watched his tape after they got him. Yeah.
Okay, so his game, like, what do you think of him as a player?
His arm is very strong. He kind of reminds me of Josh Allen.
Okay, all right. So him as a dude, what do you think of him as a guy?
He's very cool. You can tell he's a good kid.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. So now, as you kind of, you were talking about Coach Bellamy as a guy that you connected with, that would be your position coach. A little bit more into the dude who would be your head coach if it was Michigan, Coach Moore. The vibe with him. Have you really gotten a feel for him as a head coach?
Yes, sir. He came to my school, I think either 2 weeks ago or last week. It was him, the general manager, the running back coach, and the new offensive coordinator, Chip Lindsley. Yeah. I like his vibe. I think he's a very genuine guy. Yeah. I like Coach Moore.
And I know Lamar Morgan comes through Virginia. What about Coach Morgan?
Yes, sir. Yeah. I haven't talked to him in a minute, but when he came to Oscar Smith, we talked.
Yeah, I know he's a guy who rose through Oscar Smith some as well. Now, as you kind of navigate the remainder of your process, you got a lot of different choices you can make about schools that you visit. You've been to Michigan a couple times. I know they are on you to try to get you back. Have they gotten on your visit list for a return visit? Have they talked to you about that at all? Are you going to be coming back for another visit?
Yes, sir. I'll be back in the spring.
Okay, so you've already made that decision.
Yes,
do you know exactly when?
I don't know the exact date, but I'll be back in the spring. I'll talk with Coach Bellamy. Yeah, I'll be back.
Okay, all right. So now, as we kind of look at, your pathway coming out of this, I always like to highlight the people who helped you navigate this, I call it a minefield. I mean, recruiting can be it can be a distraction if you let it be. I think your family, the ones that help keep you grounded. So what about that, man? Your circle, circle that helps you keep the main thing, as we like to say? How big have they been for you?
My mom and my brother have been very impactful for me in my journey, and it's gonna be us three where I'm gonna go. We're gonna talk about it, pray about it, and that's gonna be us three.
So how do you think you know, I know I talked to some of your guys that you're here with about it. How do you think it's gonna go in the end? Is it a discussion that you guys sit and you make a decision collectively? Or is it one of those things where you sit and they give you input and then you go and you make a decision after receiving their input, you go and sit and make a decision on your own? How do you think you're gonna do it?
It's gonna be as a group, yeah, because they're definitely helping me. I definitely have help surrounding my circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
I got you, man. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out in the final analysis. I'm really excited. I'm also excited to really get down and see you play. Now, I know you get down on the hardwood as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, guys don't really do it, you know, football and basketball anymore. Are you gonna still do it on the hardwood as a senior, or are you gonna be an early enrollee? I mean, how is it gonna go your senior year?
The plan is the early enroll. So
Okay, so this is gonna be the last year you're gonna do it?
This should be the last year.
So what's your game like on the hardwood? Like who do you get down like there?
I'm a Pierce last year on the hardwood.
Okay.
Yeah, dunking the ball, laying the ball in.
Who should we go see if we're lining up a fall schedule and we want to come see you play on the gridiron next year? Come to we want to circle a couple of Oscar Smith games. Which one should we circle on the schedule?
Next year probably. I think we might play Gonzaga out of DC, and another good one will probably be Kingsport.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. We're gonna put that down.
Bet.
We'll pick one to come check you out. Can't wait to see how well you finish things up your senior year. I know it's gonna be a show. Your mom said you had a nickname, and so what is it? How should we refer to you?
Nah, you can call me Trav. I don't really like it.
All right. I tried to get it on there. Bob. Tried to give him an opportunity to shout it out, but he didn't want to do it. So we're gonna go ahead and leave it alone. Leave the young fella alone. But as we said, man, glad to have you here.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having
Trav, man, it's been a pleasure. Can't wait to make it down. Got family down that way. My sister-in-law Lori, she said, hey, I used to babysit Bubba Chuck, is what she said. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So we're gonna go down and get a chance to visit a lot of them when we make it back down to see you play. So can't wait to get on back down there. So as we say, folks, we see you on the next edition of the Michigan Recruiting Insider.